Pat, last game of the season. It's a memorable season, certainly, for the Buffalo Bills. I got to throw this out first, though. I think this is one of the most egregious scheduling messes that the NFL has ever handed a team. They're giving Miami 2.5 days more rest on this thing. Miami playing Saturday, the Bills playing Monday. You know, if this game meant more than it does, certainly to Buffalo, this is just horrible.
I guess, yes, if it was, I don't know. It's hard for me to be upset because the Bills got the Steelers. You know, the Steelers have played 3 games in 12 days. The Bills get them that. And they've had a couple of favorable ones, with the exception of the Titans game where they got 2 weeks rest. Look, the way everything is shaken out, with the exception of the Pittsburgh Steelers, every team has getting bitten on this, and every team has been able to take advantage of it. Look, man, I'm fine with it. It is what it is. I am shocked when it comes to scheduling that. I know the Bills have had, 5 straight primetime games, that they didn't flex that Dolphins-Bills game into primetime for Sunday night. I mean, with the exception of the Steelers and Browns game, this is the one that I think matters most. I think the Dolphins are a team, although I don't believe it, that a lot of people who watch the NFL think are a team that nobody wants to see in the playoffs once things get started.
They hang that label on everybody. I think Miami's least likely to wear that. That's a team I'd want to play.
I'm with you 100%, but what I've been reading the last couple of days, you don't want to play Miami, number 1 defense in the league, Brian Flores, look at his muscles. Like, I don't really care, but I would just think with all of the reading and the talking, it would have been a game that you would have focused on just to push that narrative, because there's a chance the Bills play the Dolphins in the first week of the playoffs, depending on how things shake out. So, I don't know. That's the only thing that had me scratching my head this week.
Well, this is the only reference I'm making, the NFC East. That's still up for grabs, so I understand why they flexed that game that way, because that could determine whether or not one of the teams that are terrible in the NFC East actually get in, which we'll get into a little bit later on. I mean, listen, I look forward to it. I guess the question would be, how do you play this game out? You are where you are. Do you go all the way and then pull it back at halftime? I mean, how important is this game for you to keep the momentum and the offense going the way it's been going? You obviously don't want any injuries before you get into the playoffs. This is one of those weird moments where I said before the Patriots game, play it all the way, play it all the way, play it all the way. Now you're about a week away from the playoffs. Do you want to play it all the way? Do you want to win this game and make a statement? Do you want to go into the playoffs maybe a little nicked up? I'm not quite sure. It really just depends down to game day how the Buffalo Bills feel going into the playoffs, what position that they're in, and how they feel going forward with the rest of the seasons. Because, this is a weird territory. This is why guys get paid so much money. You have to make a really tough decision about your football team, whether or not to pull everybody back at halftime or to go all the way.
Look, that's a valid concern after what happened last season, Tariq. I mean, the Bills what was it, 1 or 2 drives against the Jets and all, they empty the benches and play the backups. Well, you lose in overtime to the Texans last season. Did that have anything to do with it? I mean, your offense came out rolling at the beginning of the game. Everything got adjusted at halftime. I mean, McDermott, if he's good at one thing, it's learning from the mistakes that he's made. If he views that last season as a mistake that led to that loss, it wouldn't surprise me. They're relatively healthy, knock on wood. In fact, almost all healthy, knock on wood. Why not play this whole game out and see what happens? Do it a little bit different than the way it cost you last season.
Well, is that your answer to that question? It's a good question. Tariq poses. You play him full bore?
Okay, so I think you play him, but you don't play him full bore. I mean, you use the plays in your playbook that protects your quarterback, that protect your wide receivers. Look, you keep the guys on the field. You let them go through the motions like it's a regular game day. Just don't run any Josh runs up the middle for no reason. You send Josh out on some tight end pattern after a toss to McKenzie. Just play the game straight up. Let them get their momentum and get them off the field healthy.
You know what would help? A running game. I've been talking about it all year. A running game. Eat some clock. Get some time in there. Get the ball out of the hands of your quarterback. Just a running game and a great defensive stance. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's a good time. It's a good point. The running game would be real good this week. I'm a split the difference guy. I put those starters in. I play a hard first half and then sit them, because then you're not losing the momentum and you're gaining the advantage of just the numbers game. There's 50% less chance of somebody coming up with a bad injury. So the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins completing season. It's been just a tremendous season. I got more to say on that later in my unfinished business. Looking forward to getting to the playoff round.